Hey gang, thanks for stopping back by the channel. Today at Solitude Acres, what we're going to do is, as you can see, we've got our keeper's hive here that we built a couple weeks ago, and we showed you kind of a little bit about that. Not actually how we build it, but just about it. Talked about some. And this is a nuke that is actually a swarm that we caught in late summer. It kind of showed up in our yard. We thought it was from one of our beehives, but it actually came from somewhere else. So we nursed it through the summer. We nursed it through the winter. It seems to be doing good. We've actually got 2 boxes on there now. There's quite a few bees in there, so we've decided to transfer this over to the keeper's hive to see if we can utilize that in there this year and see how it does. The main goal today is to get that transferred. The spacer box, which is right here, which can be empty, can have frames in it. We're actually going to put some medium frames in there, 1 frame of a little bit of honey, and the other 3 frames that we have right now are just wax foundation. We're going to try and get them to build that out so we can start using that hive at least for the next few weeks until till the nectar flow starts, to see if we can get a few more frames built out for honey. So I'm going to move the camera around, get resituated, and get you in a better position to see, and then we'll get this going so I can kind of walk you through what we're going to do. We're going to disassemble some of this. Can't do too much because I don't want the bees getting out. As you can see, all we've done here is we've had this feeder on here for a couple days, probably about a week now, because it's been fairly warm. We've been trying to get them to build up some. We may end up having to replace this queen when we get one, because they have been a little bit feisty. I don't know if it's because it's a swarm, I don't know if it's time of year. We'll see how they do over time, see if we have to replace them. But we have been giving them sugar patties. They're up in there somewhat. To get down to the brood box. They are building comb, as you can see down there. But there's a fair bit of bees here, plus what they have in the top part. So I'm going to take and transfer all this over to the bottom. We'll take most of these frames and put them over here. We can put a total of 8 frames into the keeper's hive. So again, if you remember, on this just opens up. That's the observation glass, which we'll remove. Pull these out. Those are what help them not to build propolis on the outsides. I'm just pulling these frames out that I had in here. And then we're going to put these frames back in here. We're going to keep the brood here. We'll put the extra frames come from here over here. That way the brood will be centered over top here, so as we grow this out later, it'll all be there. You know it's getting that time of year we can get the smoker out. We did get in this hive last week quick when it was fairly warm out, just to check and see if there was any brood growing. She has laid some, so we'll check that here again in a second. But you can see they're bringing in pollen. Actually, there's a bee wandering around with pollen on it. We're going to go ahead and put this in here. And we're just going to slide it all the way back. And then we'll just stack these frames up just like that. Okay, you can see where we've got brood in here. She's laying. We're going to stick this in here. I'm assuming there's going to be more brood here. I have to get rid of some of this extra comb they build out. Oh yeah, she's laying. She's laying a lot. Here's a bunch more brood. This is why we wanted to move them to a bigger hive. But you can see all that brood. I don't see her offhand, but that is looking great. It's actually the first swarm we caught that wasn't ours. We've caught 2. One was ours, and one was this one. So this was free bees right when we needed it the most. They've got a bunch of pollen on here already stored up. There's even a little bit of red pollen coming in. This will be a later frame. So we're going to stick this one out here right now. See what's going on in here. This is a new frame that we put in. And they're building that out, which is why we put it in there, so they can start building this out. So we're glad about that. This one's heavy, so it's probably got the honey on that we moved over here, or they've got more honey in it. Yeah, this is definitely a honey frame. And there's the queen right there. I don't know if you can see her. I can't really point to her because I can't hold this right, but she's right here. She's not laying there, but and this one they're actually building out too. That's what we wanted. These are a little tight. Okay, so we're going to get this one closed back up on the bottom so they can kind of settle in. As you can see, we put 8 frames in there. Throw the observation window back on, close that up, and they're closed up in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this off, take the inner cover off. I already had this one frame in here, but we're going to put these 3 foundation frames in here. I'm going to stick this one in there too, just so they'll have it. We have a queen excluder here, so the queen can't get up in here. So with us feeding, we'll be able to get them to come up, that one with the honey, and it'll draw them up, and maybe they'll start building based on the feeding we're going to do from the top. Now what I'm putting on here is a thinner, just a little bit under a 1-to-1, which will be closer to real nectar, and then we'll hopefully use that to build this out quicker. We'll see. And then the next thing we need to do is stick this box on there. Let's stick that on there. So that's what we've got right now. What we're going to do now is we're going to take and pull this box out, slide this over a little bit more, so bees that are coming back will find that and realize that's theirs. We still have bees down here that are looking for their mama. You see all those bees that have been foraging, they're coming back, going, where's our place? So hopefully now they can find it. I have bees here that need to go in there. I like just setting them on the front, letting them figure it out. Okay, well that's pretty much how simple it is. I'm going to keep this on since those bees are feisty, but pretty much just moving the frames over, putting it in. If it was a nuke that you were getting, it's the same process. You just need some extra frames to add to that. Like I said, this is normally a spacer box. Sometimes you put frames in there, usually you don't. Let that be the pass-through, and then you put your honey supers on top. With the queen excluder in there this time of year, which is down here between this box and this box. The queen stays down here, but the bees can go up in there and do their thing. Up here we just put some sugar water to help them build that comb out that we have in there. I may just, for the next few weeks, depending on how quick they build that out, up until the honey flow, we may just continue to feed them sugar water and let them build comb. I'll pull out what they build out and put in more comb that needs to be built out. But we're getting close. Starting the 2nd week of February, all the bees are flying. They're doing well. We've done pollen for a while. Some free pollen probably for about the last month on the warm days, and they were going crazy. And last week they shut off because our maples are starting to do whatever they do, and the bees are finding. I guess that's where we're getting all this other color pollen come in. They're getting some slate green, the yellow, and some red. So they don't care about pollen substitute anymore, but they're obviously not getting much nectar because we have been open feeding a little bit and they go crazy with that. But we'll be stopping all that here in the next probably week, unless we get a cold snap that may be coming. Then we may just stick some feed on all of them so we can make sure they're built up good there, and have everything down below where it needs to be, so when nectar does come in, they just take it all up top and start making honey for us. Thanks again for watching Solitude Acres. If you could click like, that helps a lot. Make comments, definitely subscribe. We still consider ourselves newer beekeepers. This is the start of our 3rd season. In the coming weeks, you're going to be seeing some queen castles that I'm currently building right now. I'm not going to show how to build them. I'll go over what we're doing with them, but we're actually going to try and raise some queens this year, which is one of our new things. We're going to be getting some new equipment in. So we'll show some of that quick, just so you can kind of see what it is. It helps to kind of see what it is and how it works. So again, we appreciate you watching, and have a be blessed day.